Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals goes to the Boston Celtics in overtime, 133 to 128. This game was bizarre, but it was great. An awesome way to start.
Yeah, bizarre. What's your definition of bizarre? Because I thought that was just so much fun. You know, how I would want an Eastern Conference Finals game to look like. That is how I would want it to look like going into overtime and everything. But there are so many different factors going into this one.
Bizarre from this standpoint. Pacers got down 12-0 in the first quarter, and you remarked that it looked like JV versus varsity.
Correct.
We're sitting here going, okay, well, I mean, we have said that the Pacers took on some really shorthanded teams to get here, and now they're taking on the Celtics. Maybe this is going to be too much for them. But then they get right back in the game. The shooting was great. The ball movement was great. Celtics would have some like brief separation, but every time the Pacers would start coming back, and then fast forward to the end of the game, they're up 3 with 10 seconds to go in the ball. You got to win that game. And they did not win that game. It ends up going overtime and the Celtics escape. Plus, in between that, like the crowd was really sleepy. I'm like, is this a random baseball game on a Tuesday in July?
I'm so sorry you're used to like winning, and so like it's so hard to figure out the energy, but figure it the F out. Like, what are we doing in there? It's like they waited until it was overtime, the crowd did, until they were like, all right, we're going to get into this one now. And it's like, okay, 5 minutes, like calm down.
And I don't know if they were stunned by, hey, the Pacers are in this game. I don't know. Maybe they were just waiting for the Celtics to take over. Yeah, this is going to be tough for the Pacers to swallow a little bit here. I mean, you had a chance to win a game 1 on the road against the Celtics, and you threw it away.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough because in some ways, yes, Deuce, I think we can go about it with that angle of like, you threw it away. You had this one. You're also going up against a really good Boston Celtics team, right? But if you're the Pacers, I'm walking away from this game happy with what we were able to do. Now, where I go with that angle, I think about their scoring ability once again. And it feels like they can score on any team in the NBA now, right? Like, I mean, when we look at that last matchup against the Knicks, we're going, oh, this Knicks defense, you know, what is it going to look like? How is it going to make the Pacers offense really adjust? You know, how are they going to slow them down? Well, obviously the Knicks started getting beaten up bodies, but the Pacers kept playing their game. And what I liked about the Pacers in this game is that they still played their game. They were making shots. They were playing fast pace, all the things that they like to do.
Yeah, I mean, you heard Jaylen Brown after the game talk about it. Goes, yeah, their pace. And it's
fast.
Even catching a team like the Celtics by a surprise. They've been chilling for a minute, and it's like, oh, my God, this is the team we're playing.
Yeah.
They play fast, and traditionally fast teams get slowed down in the playoffs. Not this team, because they play with a relentless approach. The off-ball movement's there. The shooting is there, the spacing, and then they pick it up defensively. This team's gotten a lot better defensively. It's weird talking about this game because the Pacers did so many good things tonight.
I know.
But the thing that they're going to be haunted by is the end of the game and then the turnovers tonight. Because if they just take care of the ball, they win this game. They end up 22 turnovers. That turned into 32 Celtics points.
And some of those turnovers were just some of the most, it felt like the most crucial turnovers, right? You believe in your star and your leader, Tyrese Halliburton, and he's just dribbling it out of bounds. And, you know, those mistakes are going to happen, but it's when the mistakes happen that it was really tough to swallow.
Let's go to the end of the game. It's 117-114, 10 seconds to go. They've got the ball. Well, let's rewind that. Okay. Nembhard hits a jumper to make it 117-114. Tatum misses a great look.
Okay.
Halliburton in transition turnover. They get the ball back. White misses a layup, a great look. Tatum misses a jumper. They foul. All right, Pacers ball. Well, how about this game 1 win for the Pacers? They turn it over on the inbound. So then the Celtics get another chance, down 3. And this is an interesting play because some people are going to be talking about, hey, why didn't Carlisle just foul? Some coaches decide not to foul when they're up 3 in these situations. They're just going to play it straight up. You know, looking back at the replay, I thought Derek White had a good screen on Siakam, and there was really no chance for Siakam to recover and foul before that shot.
Yes, if he had fouled before that shot, I mean, you're talking about a attempted 3. You're still going to get a look at 3 free throws, right? Derek White's screen was fantastic, but what was crazy was Pascal Siakam's recovery to still find a way to get there. And I felt like Jaylen Brown gave him time to get there. And Jaylen Brown was like, oh shit, I really do have to shoot this basketball. And because Siakam's momentum was still coming into him, I don't think he could get his hands up. And he was trying not to foul, which, I mean, I guess in the regular season, sometimes if that was Steph Curry, they're going to call that a foul anyway, you know, because his face like touched Jaylen Brown's arm and everything. But it was... Pascal Siakam was doing everything he could to not foul while Jaylen Brown was shooting that three. And Jaylen Brown made a very, very difficult 3-point shot. It was absolutely gorgeous in that corner. And that was the baseline out of bounds play that they wanted to run.
It's crazy. Clutch. And then Halliburton had a shot at the end on the inbound. They gave him so much space. I'm going, how do you give Halliburton that much space? He didn't take it. Instead, he drove sideline, put himself in a really tough spot with the Celtics. I think it was Tatum hounding him, force up a look, no good. We go to overtime. And in the overtime period, the Celtics were able to take advantage. Again, there's some miscues here, right? Boston's up 124-123. Halliburton with a turnover. Then the next play down, they run a little Tatum-White two-man game. Tatum-White two-man leads to an open shot bang from Tatum, and that ended up being the game.
Yeah, and by the way, that was after Jason Tatum was shooting terribly from three-point land. What did he finish with? 2 of 8. In that second three-point shot right there that he had made right there was one of the biggest shots of the game. Like when they needed him most to make a 3-point shot, that is when he made it.
And Nembhard, I didn't like what he did on that play because you can't give Tatum that much space. He was helping so much on that White drive, and he didn't need the help. The paint was packed, and he gave himself no chance to recover to contest that three. It just was tough. And then Tatum's in a good rhythm. He knocked it down.
And he was in a good rhythm. And you talk about even Nembhard on him earlier, whether it was overtime or the fourth quarter, is when Nembhard was trying to front Tatum and kind of fell to the ground. So then TJ had to come over and help, and TJ's trying to wrap him. And you just have these two small guys trying to do something. That was the and one, right? And that was the and one by Tatum. And these small decisions that were so crucial for the Indiana Pacers that really screwed with them and just what they were trying to do this whole game. I just thought that, it's not like the focus wasn't there. It felt like, oh, okay, these are the moments where I'm thinking you are the younger team. But then you see these other moments where they're running that pick and roll action with Pascal Siakam and Tyrese Halliburton, and it's just beautiful every time because you're just seeking out Horford.
They did a fantastic job seeking out Horford in this game.
Yes.
And it's going to be interesting to see how the Celtics can kind of maneuver here because Horford was getting picked on the entire game, not just in that play. In the first half, it was Miles Turner. He's in drop coverage, or Turner's just more athletic. He's giving Turner space, and Miles is banging 3 after 3, right? He was 3 of 4 from downtown this game, and he's long, he's athletic. It's very problematic for a guy like Al Horford, who's older, right? It was the same thing when they went Luke Cornett in there. Now, the adjustment that Mazzulla did make was he decided to switch it up and goes, all right, we're going to put Tatum on Turner, and we'll put Horford on Siakam. And it looked like there were some moments that it worked, but then they just went hunting that. Siakam got the mid-range. In that fourth quarter, when it looked like the Pacers were going to win this game, it seemed like every single bucket that the Pacers got was on Al Horford. Nembhard was scoring on him. I think Nesmith got him.
Tyrese.
Halliburton got him. Siakam got him. They were going at him relentlessly. And it really worked for them in this game.
It did. And it's something that obviously they're going to have to make sure that they're doing even in the next game because the Celtics do switch everything. And if you can seek out that Horford, guarding you, and you can take him to the rack. You can score on him every single time. You can get him to go back and create enough space so you can still elevate over him and get in the mid-range. Yeah, that's got to be the game plan. And that's the thing. The Pacers don't have any issues at times, it seems like, scoring the basketball. And I thought their offense looked beautiful. Not only because guys' shots were were falling, but you saw someone in Tyrese Halliburton who finished with 25 points. He was 8 of 18. He was remaining aggressive, 10 assists as well. So he was doing just a great job of not only attacking the paint, but looking for his if he needed to, or just finding the open man. Obviously, guys making their shots makes a huge difference. The pick and roll action that we were talking about. And then you talk about Horford going in that drop coverage. Just too many mistakes there by the Celtics defense not adjusting.
And he wants to protect the rim, right?
Yeah.
But with Turner's ability to shoot the goddamn ball, it puts you in such a difficult spot. And let's be honest, there's a reason they traded for Porzingis.
Yeah.
He's not here. And Woj is reporting he's likely, or they're at least hoping he can come back in game 4. Well, it's not game 4 yet, okay? So this is going to be an ongoing issue. We did see the Celtics go into some zone looks at times, and it worked. The problem is we know the zone can't really do it when the Pacers are pushing in the pace and getting into their stuff early. That's a way to get out of it.
Yeah, so I am very curious to see what type of adjustments the Celtics defense actually does make, because it wasn't just the starting unit, and I want to get to Pascal Siakam in a second because I just thought his aggressive nature tonight was where you're going, oh, this is the star. And by the way, and he's been playing like this the last couple of games, but this was really one of those games where I just thought he looked so confident, so aggressive. The bench for the Pacers, I thought Obi Toppin and TJ McConnell once again doing a great job, not only adding with their energy and whatever they needed to do on the defensive end. I know Obi Toppin still has his lapses, but being able to score as well, contributing on the offensive end. 15 points for Obi Toppin, 13 for TJ.
I give the bench the edge in this series to the Pacers.
Yeah.
Especially with Porzingis out right now. Peyton Pritchard can get it going. He didn't get it going tonight. But after that, Hauser was getting cooked defensively. So was Cornette. Missoula just kind of went away from that group.
Yep.
And on the flip side, it was interesting to see Carlisle go away from playing any other bigs. We saw Jalen Smith randomly play. He only played a minute in this game after we're not really seeing him, right? And then you saw Isaiah Jackson come in. He only played 4 minutes. They end up going a small ball lineup with Indiana with Siakam at the 5. So I think Carlisle's doing some interesting things out there. And it's so funny us talking about this game. It sounds like the Pacers won it.
Right.
And they should have won this game. I'm going to be interested in their response because I feel like that's the one thing I'm kind of done questioning with the Pacers, but I'm still, this is going to be tough for them against this Celtics team. But how they responded being down 2-0 to the Knicks.
Exactly.
How they respond after getting their asses kicked in game 5 against the Knicks.
Exactly.
They've just responded. And I feel like even in this game, they responded when it looked like, oh, Boston's starting to take control. But here's the reality, and I think they know this. Boston will let you hang around because for whatever reason, they
get cute.
They get cute, man. They take bad shots. They stop passing
lazy
the
passes.
ball. And you're like,
lazy passes. They're trying to throw it up for a lob in transition and get an alley-oop. And it's like, what are you doing? Make the crisp fundamental pass. Do it right. You see when they play together and they play basketball the right way, it's beautiful. It's dominant. It does all the things. And I'm talking about obviously on the offensive end right now. But even on the defensive end, you'll just see these lapses where it's like, how do you even have that miscommunication? That's way too easy. It wasn't like Pascal Siakam, he had to work for some of those shots when he's posting up, turning around. That's going to be difficult at times. But when it was some of the other guys that were just getting to the rim with ease, all the way to the rim, it was a layup line, I was confused on some of those possessions. But offensively, you're exactly right. How do you fix that if you're the Boston Celtics? Is that just mentally you got to shift something, or what?
I think they have got some advantage. You saw early in this game, it's like they were able to attack the rim and get some great looks. And I feel like they settled too much from beyond the arc. I get it. The three-pointer is going to be an important part of their offense. But when it doesn't go down, they were 15 of 45 in this game. That's 33%. On the other side, Indiana was 13 of 35.
Well, a lot of their offense, too. We talk about some of the things that weren't crisp, but you're exactly right. shooting the three at times, I just thought an offensive possession would be dribble down, get maybe to the free throw line, and get a spray three. You know, like get it out to whoever. Okay, we're going to take this three. We're going to take this three. We're going to take this three. How many times have we heard in this league too, like, hey, if it's open, you got to take it, especially if you're a 3-point shooting team. But I just think that there's other times where you can truly find a better shot.
Yeah.
And it's not about taking like a pump fake and then taking one dribble in just so you're taking a jump shot and getting an easier look. No, it's just about like playing some better basketball on that end of the floor and making sure that you are also getting the best 3-point opportunity if you're getting that.
The Pacers are going to fight. They are. I know, obviously, Boston, I think they're the better team. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But I'm done sleeping on this Pacers team. I really am. I still
so
think
proud of you.
Their path, we can acknowledge that their path, because of the guys missing in the Bucks series and the Knicks series, okay? Did that help them? Yes. But watching this Pacers team play defense earlier in the year versus how they play now because of the personnel that they have out there, how they upgraded Adam Siakam, just the chemistry of guys learning to play together more. They have moments where they compete.
Yes.
They play with physicality. They play with an edge. I never get the sense that they're scared. And late game execution is what cost them in this game tonight. And now, game 2, Boston could be like, all right, we need to wake the hell up. We're out of rhythm because we haven't played for a minute.
Sure.
Right? The end of that Cavs series was weird. You know, they've had some fortunate breaks in their series, right? Against the Heat, no Jimmy Butler, and then all the injuries the Cavs had with Jared Allen out, Donovan Mitchell, you know. So it's been kind of weird for them. This could be their little wake up. And I'd much rather learn in a playoff win than a playoff loss. So it'll be interesting to see how they respond to it.
Another thing I want to make sure that we are giving more love to is Derek White. I think some of his plays defensively are just game changing. Whether it's just a recovery, whether it's just a hustle play, whatever it is, I just love the way that his game has evolved over the years.
First team all defense.
Absolutely.
Or was he second team?
I think it was second team.
It was all bigs in the first team, of course. No, he had some really nice moments in this game too. Yeah, defensively, breaking up a lob. That was awesome. The other guy I want to give some love to is Drew Holiday. You know, Holiday's role has obviously shifted with Boston, and you don't really look at him as a big-time scorer. Tonight, I thought he did a fantastic job attacking mismatches. He was going at Tyrese Halliburton in the post. He was going at Ben Shepherd when he was in the game in the post. And that's what I think Boston has to do more of. And I feel like they went away from that. There's some mismatches. If Indiana's going to go hunt your guy, Al Horford, you got to go hunt Tyrese Halliburton and at least force help. Well, even if you're not scoring, force some help. Let's see if you get the double team. And that's when you start getting some really good shots.
Because how many times did we see when they did hunt out Tyrese Halliburton that something good would come out of it, you know, and that's obviously we know that's one of the Pacers' weakness on that defensive end. I know they can come together and try and help as a team defense, but you see at times, whether it's Holiday, whether it's Tatum, whether it's Brown, they're able to hunt out the weakest link on the defensive end for the Pacers. Good things happen because you're exactly right. They can still find the open man and other things. So yeah, I think when you look down the roster for the Boston Celtics, and especially you look at that starting lineup, they played well down the stretch. You know, it's about also making sure to give this team love for figuring it out, even though they didn't execute throughout the game. And I thought the Pacers did a better job throughout this game. They found a way to execute down the stretch. They have been here before, making some of the biggest shots, making some big plays, and capitalizing off of some of the Pacers' mistakes as well.
Drew Holiday, by the way, the numbers on him tonight, 28 points. He had 8 assists, 7 rebounds, 10 of 16 shooting. He was also 4 of 8 from downtown, had 3 steals. Derek White, you talked about him. He had 15, 9, and 6. Tatum, weird game for him, like you mentioned. Like, is he going to turn it on? Well, he had 10 points in the overtime session, finished with 36 points, 12 of 26 shooting, 2 of 8 from 3, but he was 10 of 12 at the free throw line. You know, I'm glad he turned it on late because it felt like, God, he missed some looks. You're going, dude, you're not going to get better looks than this. You have to start knocking them down. I mean, he was missing at the rim. It just looked like he was rusty. And I know that that's kind of been the story with him in the playoffs this year, but he's got to turn it on now.
Well, and is turning it on, though, for you, just attacking,
attack. There's nothing I despise more
Why did I
watching
ask?
the Celtics than there's no passing and one guy just launches a three. I know they play ISO game. I know they're capable, but I want attacking nonstop.
Okay, so anyway, going back to Tatum and being aggressive and attacking, and obviously that's what you want to see. But I also look at some of the matchups or some of the guys that he's going to meet up with in the paint, right? You know how this Pacers defense can pack a paint, how well that they can also adjust and they can make sure that their presence is being felt, whether it's at the rim or just in the paint. So when you say attack for someone like Tatum, do you want him to look more for his mid-range game? Do you want him to look more for that floater?
Yes.
Because he's not always going to be able to get to the rim with some of the rim protection that the Pacers have. But okay,
And
so be explosive
hunt
and go.
mismatches.
Sure.
Hunt mismatches. That goes to everyone. I'm attacking. If I'm the Celtics, I'm continually trying to go at Tyrese Halliburton on the defensive end to make him work. You can get him frustrated, and that could take him out a little bit. You know, if they're going to go at your guys, like I said, they're going to go at Horford. You got to go at some of their mismatches out there on the other side of the ball. I know you talked about Siakam too. I thought he had a great game tonight. I feel like it feels like he's finally getting into a good spot with Indiana. And I think Carlisle's adjustment is like, dude, yeah, we're going to isolate this guy sometimes. You know why? Because he's really good at it. Mm-hmm. And we're going to get him the ball. We're going to clear out and let him go to work. If a double comes, he'll make the right decision.
And this team's making everything too.
He had 24 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists in this game. The one mistake late, it wasn't a mistake. I mean, Jaylen Brown just knows this guy. They played against him before on that spin move. Jaylen Brown on the inbound. Jaylen Brown rips it away. It was a hell of a defensive play. And that's just, again, the Celtics knowledge and understanding players. That's knowing your personnel. That was great stuff. But I love how Siakam played. He just looked like
much more aggressive.
Well, he looked like a star out there. And that's where you're like, dude, this is why this Pacers team, people want to talk about them in the beginning of the year. They're different now.
Yep.
And in large part because this guy, they have another guy that they have a guy that they could throw the ball to. We were in Vegas watching the
in-season
tournament championship.
IST, baby.
And we were like, man, they're just blitzing Tyrese and no one else can make plays out there.
Yep. It's like Tyrese was taking that early double and then having to pass it up, but then no one else.
Who's creating?
That's what it was. It was like the playmaking ability of everyone else. But now what's wild about this, when you do add another piece like that and you make some of these moves, you're seeing that it's elevated the entire team to another level of thinking and the way that they want to play make, the way that they go, oh, well, we can also make this mid-range shot. You know, Nembhard going in for some of those mid-range shots. And then also this team just moving so well without the basketball, being in the dunker spot, being able to take a lob from someone like Miles Turner. Miles Turner, by the way, who is capable of taking a step back or sidestep
three tonight. I'm like, this guy is crazy for his size. By the way, Indiana had 38 assists in this game. 38 assists. And they turned the ball over 22 times.
If the Boston Celtics did not win this game, we'd be talking about how Tatum didn't do enough throughout the entire game, missing some of his three-point shots. We'd be talking about Al Horford just being able to hunt him out defensively. And I mean, someone's got to go look at that stat and see how many baskets were actually made on Al Horford. And then also
like 27.
the Celtics not being able to go to their bench and have a lot of production there.
Well, I hope this is a series. It's more entertaining. I'm sick of watching blowouts. But
Agreed.
Game 2 will be fascinating. What adjustments do you think need to be made? What stood out to you with Game 1 of this series? Let us know in the comments below. And also, drop your predictions. Are you sticking with the Celtics? Or if you're a Pacers fan, do you kind of believe you can win this series?
Hell yeah, you do.
It'd be one of the great upsets in NBA history.
Hell yeah, it would.
Hit the thumbs up and subscribe.
Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know.